Well, hello. Today I'd like to give you my first impressions of a nice little student pen, a Geha Champion. Probably from the 1970s, maybe late 60s, maybe early 80s. Yeah, I don't know when it's from. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so this is my Geha Champion, and I have to say that this camera is doing a better job than the photograph I took with my cell phone showing the color, but still not right on. There, that helps a bit. It's kind of a coral colored fountain pen. And it says Champion on one side of the cap. And an interesting sort of ink window, which I was puzzled about for a little while, but I'll show you what I figured out. So Geha on the clip. Germany, made in Germany here. And then the Geha logo there. So Geha is, of course, a German brand that was bought out by Pelikan. You can still find the brand, they just don't make pens anymore. But a lot of European office products are sold under the name Geha. So a slip cap, bit of a texture to the section. Sort of a interesting answer to the tripod grip. I'm not sure what the point is there. The nib. Plain steel nib, and then, like most Gehas, it has a reserve tank where, of course, it hasn't been used in forever. There we go. When you run out of ink, you push that button and you've got extra ink stored in the nib. Open it up, and there we go. Now, one of the problems when you buy Geha pens is that they take a proprietary cartridge. I don't know if I've ever done a video with black, but I must have, or else I've tried. Oh, never mind, it's full. It sounded empty, but it's full. So these are some vintage Geha cartridges. They're sold as universal because they fit Geha and they fit other brands. So it's just which end you stick into the pen. This end is the universal, this end is the Geha end. So here's what I'm going to do. This is old, you can't tell, but the ink level is quite low. I just can't see how low from here. Oh yeah. Holding it up to the side, the ink level's about there. So I'm going to puncture it upside down. There we go. And you can see installing the cartridge, push the button back out. Then I'm going to remove it. And then I forgot my water. I withdrew too much water, but anyway, I'm going to put, I guess, my ink wiping cloth under it. And I'm going to inject some water. Very slowly and very carefully. So I don't want to overflow it. Okay. And we seem to be at the top, and I've injected, I don't know, half a milliliter. So we'll just shake it up a little bit. Okay, so while we're here, you're saying, well, why the double ink window? So for one thing, I can check the ink level in this one, but you notice there's another window here. So I'll tell you what the other window is for, or I'll show you. So this is a Geha 705. Same basic idea, just a little different. It doesn't have the part. So this is one of those parts that gets we'll try that again. This is one of those parts that gets frequently lost. This is a Geha 326 I reviewed quite some time ago. It's a little classier cartridge filler with some plating missing from the nib. But anyway, the important thing, one cartridge there, then there's this metal apparatus, and then it holds the other cartridge up here. And Yeah, see, so the point behind the other ink window would be, do I have an empty or a full cartridge at the top? Okay, so one thing I never liked with cartridge pens is sometimes it takes the ink forever to get to the nib. Oh, we're getting close, though. So, true story. Earlier this morning, I batch filmed a bunch of videos, including another Geha pen. And I demonstrated a feature with this pen, only because I was going to film this review later, I demonstrated using water, and that nib is still full of water. So we're going to spend a little more quality time nib down, trying to get to the actual ink. All right, so I'm going to stop the camera and let it spend a little quality time in here. Nib down on absorbent paper. We'll try to suck the ink out of it. All right, I just gave up and we're going to continue. So even though it's not totally black yet, we're just going to continue. Now, history is about to be made because I've been doing these videos in this notebook for several years. This is, I don't remember what it is, some British supermarket chain. So that is now full. So for the first time in First Impressions history, we're starting on a new notebook. I picked this up in Bismarck, North Dakota. It is a black and red notebook. I kind of like this. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. Oh, actually, that's pretty good too. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The beginning is always today. I like this notebook. So, you got a little bit of bonus there. But let's start looking at the pen. Okay, so is it possible I put too much water into the cartridge? Yeah, that is possible. But I also know for a fact that I filled it with water this morning because I was demonstrating on another Geha how the cross cartridges, or sorry, the cross converters work with this, and so I ran water through it, and I'm pretty sure that reserve tank there must still be water in it. We'll just go Geha Black. Normally after I clean out a pen, I set it nib down on a piece of absorbent paper and let it, dry out thoroughly. So we'll call it Geha Black Diluted. Oops! Flex. I think you can already tell. Not a lot of flex here. I will say it is writing darker though than when I started. Well, maybe not. Wetness and flow. Not exactly the wettest pen I own. Oops, wrong test. Not horrible, but not super wet. Smear test. I'm not expecting much smearing. Some Geha pens are wet and fun that way. This is I would call this okay, yeah, we're not wet at all. I would call this a student pen. It's got to write on sometimes lower quality. I don't know how it is in Germany, but a lot of the student paper here in the U.S. is much lower quality paper. Reverse writing. And I think this pen would do very well on such paper. Kind of a scratchy extra fine. And finally, the world famous Peter Gustafson test. Okay, I was going to make a prediction that it would pass, but then I didn't say anything, but turns out I was right. My only real fault with this pen is it doesn't have a satisfying click. Here's the click on. See, when I cap it, it's just not a satisfying sound. Now here's when I uncap it. See, it sounds great when I uncap it, but when I cap it, mush. So I'm curious to see how I like it, especially as the black pigment works its way into the feed. So we'll let you know in a few weeks when I film the me talking part of the video. So that was the Geha Champion. I really like the color. I like the double ink windows. I thought that was very clever, and I've never seen it on another pen that uses those standard international cartridges. Because some of them do expect you to put them in, 2 at a time, so you got a spare right there with you. I thought that was a great idea. So, the pen, not maybe the most exciting writing, but I thought it was good writing. I thought this is a thoughtful pen. The ink reservoir, not ink reservoir, the little button thing on the filler, I just totally drew a blank what it's called. I think it's kind of a gimmick. When it did finally get to that point, I pressed the button and I got a little more ink, but I was like pushing on the button and excuse me. Does make the pen a little more complicated to clean out, because what that is a little bit of ink stored inside the pen. So I have had the experience with other Gehas where you're like, okay, that's not the color I was writing with. That's because of the little reservoir. My opinion is just when it's out, change the ink. But I guess it's I'm writing, and oh shoot, I'm out of ink. I can't get another cartridge. Oh, what do I do? And there you go. You press the button. So, and the market for this pen, that might be more appealing than the market, for somebody like me. So I won't hold it against them. Now I was got to do the pocket test, and I just realized I didn't grab the pen. Of course, I'm not. And by the way, if you hear tapping, it's raining outside, and with the drought we've had, not going to complain. The gutter wants to drip on my air conditioner. Let it drip. It's August 20th, and yeah. So, as far as the pocket test, of course, this is not a pocket. This is what I'm wearing because it's been 105 already this week. Today's 64, so I could probably put some clothes on, but hey, school hasn't started yet. So, yeah, it slips on with a little bit of trouble, not lots, and it slips off very well. I've always been impressed with Geha, even their lower quality pens, shall we say, seem to be good pens. So, is there a lower quality pen you like? I can think of a few examples. We always get excited about those big expensive pens, but there are some really good, I hate to use the word cheap, but cheap pens out there. And or student pens, that may sound better. So, let us know down in the comments what you think. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.